I'm joined now by Suzanne Spalding. She's a senior Homeland Security advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, formerly a cybersecurity expert with the Department of Homeland Security. All right, Suzanne, so give me some technical analysis from what you heard from TikTok's CEO today. Do you think he made a decent case that the American data is protected?
Now, I don't think he was a particularly convincing witness, as your previous guest talked about. It was unfortunate that he wasn't able to give clearer answers yet. And I wonder if some of that might be that he's engaged in these negotiations with the administration to determine whether there are measures that could be in place, put in place to sufficiently reduce the national security risks from this app, and was unwilling to have those negotiations there in front of Congress. But whatever the reason, I think it clearly did not allay sufficiently the concerns that are out there.
You know, we've seemed to split TikTok off from the other social media companies for obvious reasons. There's a connection to the Chinese government. But all of the concerns, and the congressman pointed this out, and shoot, even TikTok's advocates have been pointing this out. Every concern that we have, whether it's mental health, whether it's potentially being influenced by bad actors or data privacy, is also a problem on Instagram, is also a problem on Twitter, is also a problem on Facebook. Is Congress tackling this the right way right now?
So it's such an important point, Todd. And so much of the concerns that were expressed, particularly in today's hearing, as you say, are really concerns with respect to these huge social media platforms. And they are very legitimate concerns. They are not a unique national security concerns that are related to TikTok. I think so Congress should be taking a comprehensive approach in these data privacy laws. They ought to be moving forward on those. They ought to be thinking about the ways in which competition, opening up these platforms to greater competition, could give people an opportunity to vote with their feet. And therefore demand that these platforms do a better job of addressing these kinds of concerns. But they are not unique to TikTok. But there are legitimate national security concerns that are unique to TikTok.
What is it? What makes TikTok different?
So clearly one of the big things is the ability for all of this data that is privacy invasive, that is, very detailed data that can be collected on all of us, having that wind up in the hands of an adversary, really the Chinese government, that may be a very real adversary at some point down the road in terms of an actual kinetic conflict. So that's a very legitimate concern. There's a very legitimate concern around China being able to use all of this data to improve its information operations, right? As you have talked about. Its information, the propaganda. This is a very powerful platform, 150 million users across the country, half of our population that can be reached, and the algorithm that allows them to specifically target in different ways to different audiences can be a very powerful propaganda tool, and that's a legitimate concern.
Who should be regulating algorithms? Because it's interesting to me, TikTok doesn't want to give its algorithm essentially for the government to look at. And I'm thinking, imagine if the FDA, if tobacco companies told the FDA, no, we're not going to tell you how we make our cigarette filters. You can study our cigarette and decide from inside out, right? So can you do that with algorithms?
So I think the idea of starting with outside non-governmental third-party researchers, for example, who would have access to this. As you noted in the previous conversation, it's not simply a question of looking at the algorithms. It really is more complicated than that. But I do think that if you gave outside researchers sufficient access, they could detect if you were changing the ways in which you serve up information to people in a way that is now serving China's propaganda interests, for example. And that could provide us with a level of at least transparency and visibility and be able to quickly detect when that's happening.
Look, we've got, in the intel community, I've got to stop the segment, unfortunately, but there's all sorts of sort of public-private boards, right? I think of the FISA, the way some FISA, there's a lot of decisions that are sometimes you bring in, quote, outside experts. This seems to fall into that category. You could easily see academic research board that sort of reports to CISA type of thing. Anyway, makes a lot of sense. Suzanne Spalding, an expert at CSIS. Thank you so much. Good.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.